Well, first of all, they haven't yet published any photos or videos to prove that they have actually got boots on the ground in Dnipropetrovsk region, and the Ukrainian side is not admitting to it. The deep state map updated by Ukrainian OSINT boffins, who have links to the army, shows the Russian forces at about 2 kilometers at their closest point from the administrative boundary between Donetsk region and Dnipropetrovsk region in the east of Dnipropetrovsk region. This is a very rural part of Dnipropetrovsk region, far from the industrial and population centers of Dnipro, the regional capital, and Kryvyi Rih, which is also a very big city in Dnipropetrovsk region. But nevertheless, as you said, if the Russians have advanced into the region, it's symbolically important because this is a region that, except perhaps a few incursions at the very, very beginning of the full-scale invasion, the Russians had not yet entered, and it's not one of the 4 mainland Ukrainian regions that Russia claims to have annexed. If they do manage to take a significant amount of territory in Dnipropetrovsk region, which is something that the Ukrainians have been voicing fears about for some time, then it may be that they want to use it as a bargaining chip to later exchange it for parts of those regions that they do claim to have annexed. Zaporizhia region just to the south, for example. But I stress, so far, it's only the Russians claiming it, the Ukrainians don't admit it, but certainly there's been a lot of talk about this as a very real possibility in Ukraine for some time.
Almost a week ago, Gulliver, both sides agreed on plans to exchange the bodies of 6,000 soldiers killed in action. That swap was supposed to have occurred yesterday. What more do we know?
This weekend, there's supposed to be the exchange of 6,000 soldiers killed in action. I think not all 6,000 this weekend, but it's supposed to start with a first batch of 1,212 and also 500 prisoners of war on each side. There's been a rare public dispute on the question of the lists of people to be exchanged between Russia and Ukraine. Until recently, these exchanges have been pretty much the only thing between the two countries when it comes to negotiations that has been going smoothly. But this time, the Russians say the Ukrainians didn't show up to the appointed rendezvous and effectively postponed the prisoner of war exchange without warning the Russians. The Ukrainians say that's absolutely rubbish. They did warn the Russians because they said that the list presented by the Russians did not conform to the criteria that had been agreed upon in Istanbul last Monday, and they were waiting for a new list from the Russians of prisoners to be exchanged. And when it comes to the bodies, I think it's a knock-on effect of the stalling of the prisoner of war exchange that the bodies are also not being exchanged so far. The Russians have been showing videos of refrigerated trucks that they say have got the bodies in. The Ukrainians have said that the videos were not filmed in the place where the rendezvous was supposed to be. That's where we're at so far. The Ukrainian coordination headquarters that deals with prisoners of war exchanges and exchanges of bodies nevertheless says that they very much hope that both these exchanges will be able to go ahead in the very near future.